Most people believe extraordinary lives are reserved for extraordinary people. They believe greatness is a gift handed out at birth, like eye color or height, and that somehow they missed the line when destiny was passing out talent, confidence, or opportunity. I used to believe that too. I used to think success belonged to people with better connections, better luck, better timing, better everything. Then one day, something happened that changed the way I looked at ordinary people forever, and I realized that extraordinary lives are not created by rare individuals, but by common people who make uncommon decisions over a very long period of time. I remember meeting a man years ago who didn't look impressive at all. He didn't speak loudly, he didn't dress expensively, and he didn't walk into the room like the world owed him something. In fact, if you passed him on the street, you probably wouldn't remember his face 5 minutes later. He was ordinary in every visible way, but as we talked, I discovered something that most people never notice. This man had built an extraordinary life, not because he was smarter than everyone else, but because he had learned how to live deliberately. He once told me something that stuck with me for years. He said, "I didn't change my life in a year. I changed my direction, and time did the rest." That's when it hit me. Ordinary people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they underestimate the power of direction. You see, life doesn't reward intention. It rewards alignment. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if your daily actions are pointed in the wrong direction, time will only magnify the mistake. Ordinary people drift. Extraordinary lives are built by people who stop drifting and start steering. Most people wake up each day and react. They react to the alarm, react to the weather, react to the mood they're in, react to whatever problem shows up first. They live as if life is happening to them instead of something they are shaping. And there's nothing dramatic about this kind of living. It's quiet, comfortable, and deadly. Because every day that looks ordinary feels harmless, but years of ordinary days without direction quietly build an ordinary life filled with regret. Extraordinary people don't wake up extraordinary. They wake up intentional. They decide that the way they live their mornings, their conversations, their habits, and their standards will matter. They understand something most people miss, that success is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It is not one bold move, one lucky break, or one dramatic moment. It is the quiet accumulation of small disciplines practiced when no one is watching. I once heard a simple question that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. The question was this: what are you willing to do daily that most people are unwilling to do consistently? That's the difference. Ordinary people are willing to do what's easy when it's convenient. Extraordinary lives are built by people willing to do what's necessary even when it's uncomfortable. They read when others scroll. They plan when others hope. They practice when others procrastinate. And none of this looks heroic in the moment. It only looks heroic years later when the results start showing up. Let me tell you something important about discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. When an ordinary person begins to respect their time, their energy, and their future, their life starts to change quietly but powerfully. They stop negotiating with excuses. They stop waiting for motivation. They stop asking if they feel like it and start asking if it's worth it. That shift alone can turn an average life into an extraordinary one. Most people think confidence comes first and action comes second, but the truth is the opposite. Ordinary people wait to feel confident before they act, and they wait their whole lives. Extraordinary lives are built by people who act before confidence arrives. Confidence is not the cause of success, it is the result of keeping promises to yourself. Every small promise you keep strengthens your belief in who you are becoming. Every promise you break quietly teaches you to doubt yourself. Extraordinary lives are not louder than ordinary ones. They are deeper. They are built on values, not moods. Built on principles, not opinions. Built on long-term thinking, not short-term comfort. Ordinary people ask, "What do I get today?" Extraordinary people ask, "Who am I becoming?" And time always rewards the second question more generously. There is a price to creating an extraordinary life, and it is paid daily. The price is discomfort. The price is patience. The price is saying no when it would be easier to say yes. The price is being misunderstood while you are building something that others cannot yet see. Ordinary people avoid this price. They choose comfort now and pay with regret later. Extraordinary people accept the price early and collect the rewards over a lifetime. One of the greatest lies ordinary people believe is that someday things will change. Someday they'll have more time. Someday they'll feel ready. Someday the conditions will be perfect. But someday is not a date on the calendar. It's a story we tell ourselves to avoid responsibility. Extraordinary lives begin the moment a person understands that someday is now tomorrow, and now is the only time they will ever have. I've seen people with very little education build incredible lives because they were teachable. I've seen people with very little money create wealth because they were patient. I've seen people with average talent achieve remarkable success because they were consistent. And I've seen people with enormous potential live ordinary lives because they never took control of their daily choices. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your life right now is a perfect reflection of the standards you've accepted. Not the standards you admire, not the standards you talk about, but the standards you tolerate. Ordinary people tolerate poor habits, weak boundaries, wasted time, and unchallenging environments. Extraordinary people raise their standards quietly and consistently. They demand more from themselves before demanding anything from the world. Extraordinary lives are built by ordinary people who decide that average is no longer acceptable. They decide that drifting is no longer an option. They decide that their future deserves effort today. And once that decision is made, they don't need motivation every morning. They need commitment. Motivation comes and goes, but commitment stays when motivation leaves. There is nothing magical about extraordinary success. It is not mysterious. It is methodical. It is earned through daily choices that most people overlook because they seem too small to matter. But small things done consistently don't stay small. They compound. And compounding is the quiet force behind every extraordinary life you admire. If you want an extraordinary life, don't look for extraordinary opportunities. Look for ordinary opportunities and bring extraordinary commitment to them. Show up when it's boring. Stay consistent when progress is slow. Trust the process when results are invisible. Time will do what time always does. It will reward those who stayed the course and expose those who quit too soon. One day, people will look at your life and call it lucky. They will say it happened overnight. They will say you were always special. Smile when they say that because you'll know the truth. You'll know it was built in ordinary days, through ordinary effort, by an ordinary person who refused to live an ordinary life. And that brings us to the moral of this story. Extraordinary lives are not created by extraordinary people. They are created by ordinary people who choose discipline over comfort, direction over drifting, and commitment over excuses. Change your daily choices, and time will change your life.